Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I finally got my glass in, and so far I've showed you guys how to DIY your own reef tank stand. The one I made is 36 by 24 by 24, so it's 95 gallon, and I've showed you guys in previous episodes how to cure reef rocks, which they're there in the trash can right now. They're still going. And I finally got my glass in. It came in last Friday, but I just got a chance to get over to the glass store and pick it up. So I've got two pieces together back here, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to put it together. So what I've got here are some corner clamps, these red clamps. I got them from Walmart.com. They cost me about $19. I've got 4 of them. They came in a set, so those are crucial to have for doing this type of thing. What I'm going to do is the injection method. I've actually got these corner clamps here, and I've taken a toothpick and put it in the crack for all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. The bottom is tempered, and all the rest of the panels are not. The front panel actually is tempered because I had to order it from onedayglass.com. I went with the low iron on the front and just the regular iron. Well, I say regular iron, just regular glass on the sides and the back and the bottom. Another thing you're going to want to do is use some type of spacer on the bottom glass, because you do not want that bottom panel to be sitting flat. Because if anything is a little bit off, like the surface that it's sitting on, it's going to cause that glass to torque and ultimately break. So it's important that the weight of the tank is actually sitting on the bottom edge of all the side panels, and the bottom panel is actually recessed up into the tank just a little bit. I got these little wafer boards from the glass place, so they should have those. They didn't charge me anything for them, so that's just what I used. They're stuck all to the bottom panel here, and it lifts it up about that much. That's probably 1/4 of an inch. So you just want to be sure to put something under that bottom panel to get it up off the floor, so the weight of the tank is not resting on that flat bottom. So the silicone I'm going to use is made by GE. It's an all-purpose 100% silicone, and it's clear and silicone one. So I'm going to be drilling this tank for an overflow box in the back, and this piece here and the side pieces are annealed glass. They have not been tempered. And that's important. If you guys are going to be ordering the materials and the glass to do your own tank, it's important that you get these glass panels annealed and not tempered. I got the bottom and the front panel tempered just because it didn't really matter, and the guy at the glass shop told me that tempering a piece of glass makes it just a little bit stronger. It's probably not that much, but at least if it does break, it won't break into large shards. It'll crumble into a million little pieces, and especially if you got kids around or pets, it's probably a good idea to get the sides tempered, the front tempered, as much as you can get tempered, and just leave the back annealed, and that'll allow you to drill the back so you can put on your return. So this is the drilling phase of the tank build. Right now I've got my hose hooked up. I've got a 60mm glass drill bit, and I've got my cordless drill, and I've got 3 batteries that are constantly being rotated. I've also got a drill guide to keep my hole straight, and got a couple of cinder blocks with some cardboard on top of it, and that's how I'm gonna accomplish this. I'll just show you real quickly with one hand how it looks. So I'm going to keep drilling these, and I'll get back to you after I've got the holes cut. Before you start putting your joints together, you're going to want to make sure that they are very clean. You want to get all the dust, all the particulate matter, any residue that may be on the edges of the glass, because you're going to be bonding those two surfaces together. And any little piece of detritus or any little piece of dirt or material is going to cause that silicone to stick to the dirt instead of bond to the glass. So you got to be very sure to use some type of cleaner. I'm just using some cheap stuff, glass and surface cleaner, and I'm just going to spray the edges of the glass and get all the oils and grease, dirt, any type of dust, everything off of those edges, so I'm ensuring that I have the best seal possible. Okay, so what you're gonna need now is a handful of toothpicks, one to put in your mouth and one to make sure that your gap is the right width. This is about 1/8 of an inch, so this will allow you to space your glass gap between the joints appropriately all the way down. So what I've got here is a toothpick, and I haven't actually spaced this joint yet, so I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do in order to space it appropriately. I'm just going to run that toothpick all the way up and down to ensure that the gap between these two joints is wide enough. So it looks like it really spaces out towards the bottom. So I am going to fix that gap until it runs smoothly all the way up and down. And I'm also going to want to do this on the bottom and side as well as the back and bottom. I decided to go with the 3x2x2 because, well, my buddy Colin actually convinced me that it looks good, and it actually looks really good. It looks really proportional, so the width is 3 feet and the depth is 2 feet and the height is 2 feet. It kind of looks like a cube and it looks really good in my opinion, so just a shout out to Colin. Thanks for giving me that recommendation. And that's the reason why I went with the 3x2x2. I have my holes drilled for my overflow, the 2 holes together, and the single hole is for my return. And I've actually already started injecting silicone. This here is the front panel connected to the side panel. This is probably the worst one. It was the first one I did. I should have started at the back. Got a few little air bubbles in here, so maybe I can take a razor blade and cut that out once it dries. And I've got one last little section here to glue, and I was going to show you guys how I did that. And again, just as a reminder, I used a toothpick to space the gap here, so that's what you're going to want to do. So when you want to put these pieces of glass together using the injection method, you want to cut the tip off and then take a pair of pliers and squeeze this tip. So what that allows you to do is actually get that silicone in between that little crack of glass. And this limits the exposure of air, the contact time with the silicone to air, and prevents it from hardening on the outside and creating that little sheen on the outside. So you get a much better seal in between your 2 pieces of glass. Okay, so I want you guys to see me injecting this into the seam. And I want you to see what I'm looking for. Come a little bit closer. Right to where I'm shooting it. Can you see it pushing in there? Come up, 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 up. You see where I am? Yeah, right there. Very good. Just keep it right on the tip of my gun. And then once you've finished with your seam, you want to take your finger and run down the inside here. I'm using a pair of gloves. It just works so much nicer. And it makes a nice, pretty seam on the inside. You only get one shot at it, so try to do it right. If you smear a little bit too wide, it's okay. So once you let your seam set up and everything dry, then it's time to put on the Euro braces. Those are really simple to do. I didn't actually record me doing this. It was really simple. All I did was lay down a bead of silicone right on top of the glass, and also did a little bit on the sides. And I laid that support right down, and I also did the same thing for the back and the sides. So super easy to do, and that's how you lay those down. So here's the back of the tank. I decided to paint it black so it would make the fish pop a little bit better. And all I used for this was Rust-Oleum flat black paint. It's an oil-based paint, and I used a roller, and I first painted a very thin layer on the outside and let it dry. And once that dried, I put a nice thick coat on top of that. That's everything for the 3x2x2 tank build. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and checking me out. So check out my other videos. I'm going to keep updating them and keep you guys posted on the progress of this 95-gallon reef tank. Take it easy.